Hi Kiwi, we are back at Hades 1. We're going to be running the aspect of Zagreus on the rail. Objectively speaking, the least interesting and most boring weapon or aspect possible, but still a solid one because it is the rail. You can never really go wrong with the rail. You're gonna of course take Zeus on the keepsake just to max out the potential damage it can bring. You need something that does a lot of damage rapidly. So we're gonna go ahead and take 1 level of damage control. Actually, we can probably take 2 levels of damage control. Let's get rid of approval process because that's no fun. And we need 1 more. Let's go ahead and take 1 more level of jury summons. Sure. I think we can handle a lot of enemies. If we get the Zeus build stacked up well enough, we'll be fine. And with all that said, 13 heat on the rail. Let's go.
No stopping me this time.
So once again, I am running for a Zeus build because Zeus just is so strong if you can get enough of his boons stacked up.
What do we have here?
I eagerly anticipate getting to meet you face to face someday, dear nephew. Just as soon as you can up and out of there.
One day, Zeus, one day. Okay. Sadly, we do not get a high rarity special attack, but we do get his attack, which is really all we need, because the damage potential is just so fantastic on Zeus's attack, especially once we get enough things stacked. I will go for the Chaos Gate here. Getting the attack damage buff that they can give isn't really that great on the rail.
The Fates have much in store for you, O son of Hades. Perhaps, however, we can tamper with their weavings here to some extent.
The Fates would be Chaos's grandchildren, wouldn't they? Yeah, they would. We did not get anything that boosts our damage, but 45% more coin sounds great because it'll let us buy more things from the shop, potentially. So I can no longer use my cast for 4 rooms, but that is fine. We're also getting a Lucky Nectar, which means a guaranteed level on that attack boon that we just picked up, which means more damage overall. But as you can see right now, our DPS is pretty lacking, and that's probably the biggest issue with the rail as a whole, is it has pretty poor damage, and that's why you need to depend on Zeus's boons, because it gives you the AoE and a whole bunch of extra damage that the rail just does not offer otherwise. I suppose alternatively you could go a Super Soaker type build where you run, speaking of which, Poseidon on the attack, and then get Sea Storm and kind of build the same way, but you'd probably get more damage out of it that way, potentially, but hard to say for certain. You can always remember to use your terrain to your advantage if the auto-target would let you, because the terrain may actually do more damage than the actual shots of the rail. Where this weapon shines is AoE. You can mow down all of the enemies around you very quickly, but it does not do very well against armored targets.
So, nephew, my honored brother Zeus already has endowed you with his thunderous might. Well, you shall soon forget about all that after a taste of this.
Maybe weaving in specials here and there will help, but we didn't get either. Let's see, Sunken Treasure or Ocean's Bounty. I think we take Ocean's Bounty because it's just funny to think about how much coin we're going to be stacking if we take that. Splash Dash or Tidal Dash is pretty fun, though. What do I want here? We're going to take Ocean's Bounty. It's more fun for now.
Let's make some waves.
We'll go for the key here because I do feel like I'm going to need some lucky rerolls. Considering how weak this feels like it starts out, we need some extra benefit. I think I will also go for Artemis because I think Support Fire will actually add a pretty decent amount of extra DPS considering our base attack damage is only 10 as it is.
From chaos is transformed.
And each hit of Support Fire, even at its lowest level, is 10, so it effectively, sadly, kind of doubles our damage. We're dealing 12 per hit, I believe, on the Zeus boon that we got. Let's see, 14 per hit on the Zeus boon that we got. So effectively, we're doing 24 damage a hit. Our DPS is overall kind of fast, but the number, or like, I guess not DPS, but our hits per second is pretty fast. So that's the other thing. If we get a God Gauge, if we can start getting a call, we will fill our God Gauge incredibly fast because it's not always about the damage you deal so much as the number of times you deal damage. So we can fill our God Gauge pretty fast with this sort of a weapon. God Gauge we'd want to go for. Dionysus's Call does a ton of damage. Zeus's Call would do a ton of damage, and if we're going to be going a Zeus-focused build anyway, it would scale really well. I'm less inclined to want Poseidon's Duo, not that it isn't fun, but unless we get Sea Storm, there's very little it offers us. In turn, it'll actually be a net DPS down, I imagine, potentially.
Power of Olympus.
I can't really crunch the numbers. Aphrodite is not a god we want on this run, but I guess we're getting her anyway.
Ready, lads?
But here's where I make the argument for the Zagreus Rail, because the Zagreus Rail would out DPS this on base immediately. Aspect of Hestia without a single boon on its attack would out DPS it. Even Aspect of Lucifer, while its damage isn't amazing, it ramps up the longer you can maintain the beam. And those Hellfires, once fully upgraded, do a ton of damage too.
My
They're
Lady
special.
Aphrodite, once more you've graced me with your presence and your favor, which inspire the best from me. Let this modest gift of ambrosia signify I am forever in your debt.
But at the end of the day, the rail is just an incredibly safe weapon because you can just safe spot enemies. You can keep your distance, kite them out, and just shoot them when you're safe.
My little godling. I'd say you've honored me more times than I could count, but that would be a lie now, wouldn't it? I so admire your devotion and your perseverance. If ever you do reach us on Olympus, I should very much enjoy getting to know you even better then.
Sounds like fun. Oh, Bond
My
Forged.
dearest little godling, how fares everything with you of late? I love to have these little interactions with you, simple as they are, for they have brightened many of my evenings here.
I suppose I'll happily take her special because that'll be a nice bit of damage up. Alternatively, Life Affirmation could be decent for the sake of just the extra HP it gives, but I think we'll take the damage on the special first. That means I will have to take either Poseidon's Cast or Dash if I want to get his duo, although at this stage I don't actually know what I want from his duo that would make me want to consider it over just... Yeah, I guess, like, here's the thing. Sea Storm sounds fun, but it only sounds fun if I get his attack. Otherwise, this is just another Zeus build,
Crushed.
and Poseidon just happened to show up, which is kind of funny. And as it is, to get Poseidon's attack, we'd need to get lucky enough for him to offer us a trade-in, which we did get lucky last run, actually. Zeus gave us the trade-in on the special, and that ended up massively increasing our DPS, which was pretty funny. You know what would be a funny hammer to get on this build? The one that I think gives us, it's either 6 or 10 more ammo. That sounds kind of funny if we were to get that. But I think what we're going to do next, once we clear this floor, is we're going to go asking for an Artemis boon with her keepsake, the Adamant Arrowhead, and we'll go for support fire if we can get it. Crit chance is always welcome in any sort of build, but in this build, even a crit isn't going to feel that amazing. Never a fan of these enemies that spam damage control buffs on each other, but the nice thing is we have a damage control shredding kind of build, because these bouncing lightning bolts, the hits themselves, we're just popping shields every so rapid fire style. The other big weakness of the rail, so the nice thing about this rail is it has basically the only reason you really want to consider the aspect of Zagreus is because you hate the reload mechanic on the weapon, and I can acknowledge that. Flurry fire, there we go. Your attack is faster and more accurate, gains 6 extra shots. That's kind of funny. So we have 30 shots now. Triple bomb is objectively, actually maybe not objectively, might be a little bit better. Spread fire I hate because it removes our range, which I was about to say is one of the biggest benefits of this weapon, is that you can keep your enemies at a distance. But with all that said, I do think the aspect of Zagreus really loses out compared to the other aspects on the rail. Like I could make an argument for this over Lucifer maybe, if you don't like how Lucifer plays, because it really does require you to maintain a constant shot on enemies. But otherwise, it doesn't necessarily feel worse. Regardless, the thing about the rail is if you want to get good at it, you need to learn how to manage your ammo. And for me, the thing about it is I don't pay attention to the ammo counter in the bottom left. My management of my ammunition is exclusively when I see a break in my ability to DPS. Like I need to dodge, I want to use my special or my cast. That is my chance to use the attack, and that does sometimes come back to bite me if I have like an instance here where I am just able to freely DPS on someone without punishment. I'll use my full salvo and then start firing blanks by accident because I don't have enough ammo to continue attacking. And that is the one thing I dislike the most about the rail. It feels terrible when you've used up all your shots and you can no longer what's the word? You can no longer shoot and you're just firing blanks, standing there like a complete like a total sitting duck. It doesn't feel great, and I acknowledge that. HP or shop? Let's go for the shop because we could see a Zeus here, and that is pretty important for us. We got Artemis, actually, which is fantastic.
Should come in useful.
Pressure points. I almost want to try and reroll for support fire, but we'll take pressure points first. There's no shame in taking pressure points in this instance. I don't think I'm going to buy the palm here because... I'm not gonna buy the palm because we're at the point where diminishing returns is pretty potent on the attack, I imagine.
Hades.
So,
Also,
no quarter now or ever, enemies. Attack.
I think I'll benefit more from
Furies.
saving this coin for potential Zeus boons we might be able to purchase in the shops now. Basically, the things you need to practice with the rail are managing your reloads, learning when you need to reload and when the appropriate time is. So see there, you probably heard it, but I used the reload as I was dashing out of her shots. But basically, your goal to reload should be whenever you're trying to reposition. That gives you the best chance of both getting a free reload and then not losing out on the DPS you would have lost anyway, because you're focusing on using those other DPS options anyway. See, I reloaded when I was casting my special and my cast there, and that's basically how you optimize the rail.
The other sisters left.
Granted, you're gonna have to do that more often when you're not running the aspect of Zagreus with Flurry Fire, which gives us an extra like 18 ammo.
Megara had better not be going easy.
But still, all right. So we can still force Artemis here, and I kind of want to because I want support fire. I just think it's funny. It'll be fun. Nothing from here that I want. Anything I want to sell? No, nothing I want to sell. So we've got 3 rerolls. So
Clear.
I guess one thing to consider is, do I want Lightning Rod? Not really, because I don't think Lightning Rod will work with this. I'm using Stygian Soul, which means our cast gems don't drop on the ground.
Asphodel.
So I don't think that would work.
Just need to get from here across all that.
All right. So just kind of the most boring option for coming into to Asphodel, just gems, but we'll take it. So yeah, the issue right now is we don't have any of the extra things that make Zeus really shine, unfortunately. So our DPS feels very lacking, but the sad thing is, I honestly feel like this is probably the best DPS we could have with this weapon aspect out of any of the god options we could be offered. That's probably not entirely true, but it does often feel that way, because let's think about it. I guess, how fast would Doom proc if we had Ares? Ares doesn't really do great with rapid attack kind of boons, because his whole idea is you hit them, tag them with Doom, and then Doom activates after a second and does a whole bunch of damage.
I have returned. I had a feeling I would find you all alone out here.
No, it's okay.
Think you can beat
I'm never
me,
alone with you around, Than.
One way to find out.
This is kind of lame. This enemy's gonna die before I can even hit it. Okay, we got him. Cool. I'm gonna focus on trying to kill the lower HP enemies because I don't think I can out DP. I can outspeed Thanatos here, or I guess I can apparently. All right. Rather than Dosh, I wanted to make sure I got my damage off, so that's why I kind of took the hit there. Would really love to have some jolted damage of any nature here, though. It's kind of wild that I'm still out DPSing Thanatos here, because he has the inherent advantage. I don't know why I'm even going for that enemy. There's no way I'm beating him on that one. He had too much time to cook. I am definitely taking far more damage than I should here. Realistically speaking, that should be the end. Okay, I could have probably just let him finish the rest.
All's well enough here on the surface, cuz. The sooner you can make it under there, the better it'll be.
All right, Hermes, give us attack speed up. That would be hilarious. Greater haste.
I'll take more down next time. We should do this again.
I won't complain about greater haste because it sets us up for potential rush delivery, which would be a nice damage boon for us. And we certainly could use damage since Zeus is being rather stingy in his presence. If we are given an option between Zeus and Artemis, I am definitely taking Zeus because as fun as Artemis's support fire shot attack would be, or support fire boon would be, it doesn't outperform what a single Zeus boon could give us. Between more chain shots would be decent in these kind of more enemy dense rooms, but realistically what we need right now is anything that grants us a modicum of damage, and that's going to be Jolted before anything else. Jolted would be so good for us here. All right, there's a Zeus boon, and yep, I knew Artemis was going to show up in that other room, but like I said, Zeus first. Zeus gets priority in all instances because because of course he does. Why would Zeus ever not get priority? Just ask him himself. He is the most important god, right? He is the father of all the other gods, pretty much, or not really, but feels like that sometimes. He definitely I suspect he perceives himself with a fatherly role to them. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this right here.
Hello there, Prince.
Cool, I was able to hit both of them. That's exactly what I wanted. We'll go ahead and grab all that HP. Oh, you're supposed to... There we go. Ah, missed. Darn it. I'm trying to drop my special on him as he lands. It's a little tricky, but not that hard. Static Discharge. Ooh, and it's an epic level Static Discharge. That's going to up our damage pretty substantially. All right, we have been summoned by Chaos. Oh, this will be our chance to talk to them with Nyx. If she shows up. Nope, she's not here. Sad.
In the name of Hades.
Let us see. None of these do I particularly want. I think this is an instance where I will gladly reroll.
Hate to be ungrateful here.
Special does 33% more damage. I think I would have taken the 40 HP, except I can't attack with it, so I don't think I reroll again. So unfortunately, Hades, Chaos did not give us anything I could possibly want. Back attack is okay, I guess. We'll just take the increased special damage for not being able to use our cast for 3 rooms. We'll take the Nectar here, although maybe I should have just gone for the Darkness, honestly. The chances of this hitting the attack and the benefit from it hitting the attack are both low. Why did I do that? I meant to hit reload. Oops. Oh well, free HP. That's kind of awkward. Should have at least saved it for learning. Yeah, okay, these things are getting melted a lot faster now that they have jolted on them. And it means we get status privilege on them, which also ups our damage pretty substantially. I don't think it increases the damage of the Zeus attack boon itself, just the base damage of our shots. Still good all around though. Pressure, oh, a level 1 pressure points? You know what, that's actually pretty decent for us. We'll take the shop here for the sake of potentially getting another Zeus boon. We got an Aphrodite boon. I have no interest in anything that she could offer us here, I think. Duo with Artemis is crit chance, I think, on weak foes. No, it's our crit chance.
Hiss once if you think you're going to lose.
It makes us crit more. That's what it. Our crits hit more by like 100% more damage, which is decent. But the fact that we only have like 3% crit chance right now means it's not that exciting. I do wish there was a more reliable way to potentially up your crit chance, or not your crit chance, up your what's the word? Yeah, no, actually, yeah, your crit chance. I wish there was a more. No, okay, I remember what I was trying to say. Sorry. What I was going to say is I wish there was a way to more reliably.
Yes.
Wow, I lost my train of thought a second time. That's kind of impressive. Rarity, that's what I want. I wish there was a way to upgrade your boon's rarity more reliably. It's basically Eurydice or get lucky. Like, be offered a rare boon from the start, or be offered a trade that upgrades the rarity. Because if you didn't notice, whenever a god offers to trade boons with another god's boons, they rank up their boon's rarity by 1, which is quite nice. But it just being offered that trade is pretty rare, all things considered, so it's not a reliable expectation to have. I'm going to use my cast here just for the little bit of extra damage it gives. Boiling Blood is always quite nice. I think it's called Boiling Blood, the mirror perk that gives you damage increased based on enemies holding your cast gem. And I think trading 4 or 5 HP for the sake of a 10% damage increase on a boss is worth it. Especially when you're basically going to heal to full for free afterwards. Unless it's a boss where you're really worried about dying against. Sadly, we did not get support fire. In fact, we didn't even get an Artemis boon. That was a really short Asphodel. Unlucky. Like, if I keep this, do I still see Artemis in the next floor? It's probably not worth it. Let's see, who can I rank up? We won't level that up entirely. We won't level that up entirely. We're almost all keepsakes are almost fully leveled up. That's kind of cool. I think, why don't we just take the Myrmidon Bracer for the sake of leveling it up here. There's nothing I strictly want, so let's take the next boon we find will have an upgraded rarity. That sounds good. Because if we do find a Zeus boon,
to the top.
If we do find an Artemis boon, or we do find a Hermes boon, those could all be very good having their rarity upgraded. So yeah, we'll take that for sure. And I think we're sitting very pretty on coins, so I should still be able to very easily afford a Titan Blood and Sticks with a couple good chambers, or just running the gold chamber they inevitably offer. And if Ish is now.
You're mine.
Cool. That'll give us something nice. Might give Ambrosia, I forget. And young Hades has nothing to say here. All right, we'll take the we'll take the palm here. We'll see what we stand to gain. It might not actually be that much, so maybe I should have gone for the what's it called? Maybe I should have gone for the coin there just to guarantee I can afford things in 6. This guy is letting us get away with so many back attacks. Like, he doesn't care, but this is kind of rough. We do not have very good DPS overall. That's kind of funny that playing Rama the right way, or the wrong way, did better than playing the Rail the right way. But this is just kind of why I never run the aspect of Zagreus. Because, let's think about it. Like, if I got the Zeus Legendary, which is really the thing we stand to gain the most from having at this point, that gives me 40 damage a hit more, which is substantial. It is unquestionably a substantial DPS up. But the fact that you have to depend on a god's legendary boon just to make a weapon work, or feel like it can work, it's just, it's, all things considered, I maintain the aspect of Zagreus is probably one of the worst.
Good enough to eat.
Hands down the worst rail option, but otherwise just one of the worst weapons overall. We'll take the hammer here. I'm not too worried about taking damage. We already have 175 HP, so we're pretty tanky, all things considered. But honestly, I think what I'm failing to recognize is I need to use my special more often, because it does overall more DPS, especially if I combo it with my attack. It's just more reliable to do that to squeeze out as much damage as possible. And it also grants us status privilege, which is another thing I'm not taking advantage of so far. So I guess before I completely complain about the rail being awful, I should acknowledge that there are things that I could do to optimize my playstyle a bit better. But I still maintain, like, it does not have hit stun. Its benefits are its range and its damage potential with Zeus builds. But why would you choose this over, like, there is no reason, aside from the reload mechanic, to ever choose the aspect of Zagreus over the aspect of Eris. Eris plays the same, pretty much. Piercing foes and 50% damage to armor would be beneficial to us. Slowing enemies in an AoE, kind of nice, but we have perfectly good AoE already. Or better special. Honestly, it might be best to go Cluster Bomb here. Piercing Fire fits our build better. And it'll make us deal with armored foes, which are really rough here. I think, let's go for Piercing Fire. That'll also make it easier to reliably DPS Theseus, because I can pierce his shield. And just, of course, the shielding enemies here in general are also easier to deal with. As much as Zeus would probably benefit us more, I am going to take Aphrodite here, because I just have a harder time dealing with her penalty than Zeus's for whatever reason. Weak afflicted foes are also 15% more susceptible to damage. That could be decent for us. Aphrodite's aid, 250 damage. I mean, I was talking about how... Nah, I'm going to take Sweet Surrender now, but we'll continue her call if we're offered it again.
Apparently, the consequences of displeasing me have slipped your mind, young man. A harsh reminder is in order, then.
All right, we'll start calling out our cast immediate, or our special immediately. Yeah, see, so like right there, this is where that boon, that Daedalus Hammer I just got benefits us, because I don't have to worry about hitting these guys in their shield. I can penetrate their shields. It does block the Zeus attack though, so it's still better to position, but at least I have the option of, if I'm trying to focus one down, I'm hitting the other one at the same time. Gonna toss a special right there. So tossing the special every chance I get to reload is a great idea, because look at that, it crit for 430 damage. Like, I think overall the DPS on the attack is probably a little bit better.
Oh, nephew, but I simply can't stay wrathful toward you, much as I might try.
One legendary, please. Actually, can we even get your legendary yet? I think we might need a tier 2 of yours before we can get it. Yeah, okay, so let's see if we can get, let's see if we can get your multi-bounce ability. We cannot. All right, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take his cast, and the reason for that is just so that we...
Thunder and lightning.
You know what? Actually, his cast was the worst possible option. Never mind. Well, we lose. Oh, well, it's fine.
Rematch.
The champion awaits, short one. If you can get through me again,
What I should have done there is taken his dash, because we need something that drops lightning bolts, because then we have 3 different boons that we could get as tier 2 to potentially unlock the legendary. But I get the sense we're not getting his legendary on this run, unfortunately, which is very unfortunate considering our copious lack of damage here. I am going to use Sisyphus here for the sake of getting a little bit of extra HP, and then on top of that also just speeding this fight along. Granted, it would have been better to have it for Theseus and Asterius, the heroes fight rather, but I'm okay with this. So the best way to deal with Asterius' charge is to have your back against a wall. That makes it so he's more likely to slam against a wall. I've discovered it's very unreliable to have him try and aim for these pillars. So I always, when I'm fighting Asterius, try to stay relatively close to a wall so I can more easily guarantee that I'm blocking his attack. I have been playing on higher heat runs lately, and 2 levels of forced overtime Asterius doing his charge attack is absolutely terrifying. And if he can turn on a dime. His ability to turn like short corners is absurd, and it feels kind of unfair, honestly. The best way to deal with it is have your back against a wall and then dash through him at the last second, which timing-wise is still scary, because if you get hit by his dash when you're running such high heat, he does like 70 plus damage, and it's basically a one-shot if you're running low or not stacking HP very much.
Lady Artemis.
The hunt comes down to kill or be killed. Except for us immortals who have to live with our shame, which is worse.
Oh, this is our first... Is this our first non-shop? I guess it is. Okay. Still not being offered what we want. Exit wounds is not that exciting. Dash strike doesn't affect the rail, I believe. And 30% more crit damage is cool, except we only have like a 4% crit chance. So let's...
boons for me?
Well, we did not get support fire, and critting on her special is kind of funny, but it's not reliable. We'll take Hunter's Mark. 40% crit chance is always welcome here. But sadly, no support fire. I would have loved to see support fire there, because we could really use it.
Long spears.
Alright, so yeah, what I need to do is I just have to accept the fact that my special is the core of my damage right now. It's just a little bit hard to land when enemies are dashing at you non-stop. This is the other big weakness of the rail, is because you do not have hit stun, it's much harder to break these Revenants out of their respawn. But Revenants as a whole are always difficult to deal with when you're also having to dodge whatever the other Revenants in the area are doing to you. So it's I'm not 100% sure if it's the case or not, but I think you honestly can't stop these from regenerating if you are attacking them. Let's confirm. Okay, you can. Or I'm not sure. Here, let me kill that. Okay, yeah, you stop it from regenerating. That's fine then. Any source of damage flinches it. That's good. That would have been really unfair if that were not the case. All right, we will take Splash Dash, I guess. I know it's called Tidal Dash, but let's be honest, it's Splash Dash. 26 coin for that much HP, I'll gladly take it. Light of Ixion. Let me see what our next room is before I commit to that idea. Patroclus. Alright. I don't know if a Chaos Gate can spawn in Patroclus's room, but we'll try for it. Again, I maintain the notion that I have plenty of,
The glade looks nice and orderly of late, I guess.
We have plenty of opportunities to...
Stranger.
I've lost my train of thought again. Alright, here, have an ambrosia.
Yes, sir. The drink of the gods themselves. Thought maybe you would like to try it. Just a small token of my appreciation for your selflessness with me time after time.
You'd give the precious gift of ambrosia to someone like me, stranger. A gloried thing like that. Why bother? I should be just another shade to you.
Well, you're not. You're someone I look forward to seeing here in Elysium, which is more than I can say for just about anybody else around here, so please enjoy it. Perhaps with Achilles.
Well, perhaps I'll try. You're not so bad, you know that, stranger? Careful with that, or you'll undermine the ruthless reputation that you have.
I find it... I actually have to wonder, will there come a point where he stops calling us stranger? Because I think at this point we know each other pretty well.
Achilles has returned to work for now, but waiting for him, knowing he'll return, rather than waiting for the sake of it, for nothing. Such a different feeling, stranger. I'd forgotten it entirely, I think.
It's a nice
Happy
notion.
for the both of you. So, is everything all right then? The circumstances under which you were separated in life. It's unimaginable, really. How does one move on from a thing like that?
Anger fades, I guess, stranger. Even the famous anger of Achilles. Anger burns hot, then burns out. What's left is a dull ache, but underneath it, there was something else. It felt as though, well, I was still alive. That feeling, it's worth holding on to.
What a sweet notion. Alright, I could definitely use some attack damage, but 60% more damage on a 10 damage attack only means that we're dealing 16 damage instead of 10. But that does up our overall DPS. I guess I'll take that, yeah.
Take care then.
Not like I have many better options. A Poseidon boon or a coin room. I guess we'll take Poseidon. I'm not worried about running out of coin or not having enough coin to afford something.
Clear for now.
Oh, Razor Shoals. But do I really want that? Because all it is on my dash. Not that I really want Poseidon's Aid. I think Zeus's Call would offer us more DPS. Yeah, we'll take Razor Shoals, I guess.
Cheers, Uncle.
And then we'll take the HP here, I think. Maybe the coin would have been better in case there was a Zeus boon offered in the shop in Styx. Yeah, okay, I think, given the, I doubt I'll get another chance to make this choice, but assuming I do get another choice between HP and coin, I will prioritize coin, I believe. Remembering to dash into enemies to apply Rupture is a little bit tricky for me, but it is a bit more reliable than landing a special on them to get status privilege going. Somehow it does feel like maybe that Hydrolite is actually making a pretty huge difference because it feels like I'm melting enemies a lot faster. It's definitely not affecting the Zeus boons of damage, just the base attack damage. But I guess any amount of damage up from having next to nothing in the first place is substantial enough to be appreciated. And Splash Dash is pretty good for protecting me against these little flame chariots because I push them away. If I dash near them, they get pushed away and then die. Alright, a shop or a Hermes boon? This should be the end shop, so it's either a free Hermes or a shop. I think, let's go for a Zeus boon potential here. Sadly, we don't get our second Hermes, though. Oh, hey, look, a Zeus boon.
Here's the fee.
Would you kindly offer us something we want, Zeus? Oh, I guess we did say we want your call. I guess the legendary boon is dead. The dream of the legendary boon is dead. I could have taken lightning reflexes and been more likely to get at least the option of having double strike offered, but realistically speaking, it's not worth it at this point.
By the gods of Olympus, you'll go no further on your wicked quest.
Alright, Kiwi, place your bet. Will we even see another Zeus boon for the rest of the run? Because there's a reasonable chance he's just not going to show up on the final floor. I've certainly learned to expect that pretty reliably. Oh, hi Asterius. We do, now that we have Zeus's dash, or Zeus's call, have an extra bit of damage potential. Actually, now that I think about it, the Zeus call could offer us lightning reflexes, or what is it, double strike or high voltage after all. So, no, we didn't need lightning reflexes. I'm dumb. All right, we've got his greater call now. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it. Look at that dodge I just pulled off. I dodged Asterius' attack by using Zeus's call. That was kind of fancy. You could see it play out in slow motion. Alright, you know what? Our DPS has come online at least a little bit. And we somehow took out Theseus and all that. That's kind of funny. So that was pretty optimized, I would say. Because what I just did there was I tossed my special, I tossed my cast, and then I dashed into him. So I applied all of my... Ooh, that was a lot of damage that I didn't need to take. I applied all of my debuffs at once, or all of my curses at once, so I got status privilege, I got the damage off, and yeah, that felt pretty fancy in my mind at least.
We got them, my good Shade.
Always have to do a lap just to say hello to my good Shade before we move on to the next floor.
I suppose that I shall be seeing you quite soon.
Now, do I just stick with the Myrmidon Bracer to continue to rank this up? I think I kind of do, honestly. Alternatively, once again, Harpy Feather Duster. We could probably fully rank this up if we took it into sticks. That seems kind of appealing to me, so why don't we do that? 32 encounters left on that. And what about the spike collar? 7. So we'll take the spike collar into a floor next time, and that should be clear enough to clear it. So Harpy Feather Duster one more time. Nothing here I particularly... Oh, you know what? 40% or 30% more damage for 40 coin. I think that's worth it.
Do I still need these?
I could sell these, but I'll hold on to them for a little bit longer. Not that they're doing a whole lot for this build, but it's nice to have them, I suppose. It's a sunk cost fallacy. You don't want to give up the thing. Maybe not sunk cost, but you know, it's a hoarding mentality, I think is really what it is. Why am I trying to shoot these pots when I have Tidal Dash? Yeah, that's a lot easier. But yeah, we only need about 300 coin if our goal is to get a... Oh, it's a diamond, so whatever. Hey, we are in fact offered a Zeus, and there's Artemis to potentially give us something fun. All right. I do think this is probably going to be where our build suffers the most from its weaknesses, because I do not have a reliable way of canceling out these satyrs from using their poison, and that means I'm probably going to get hit by poison attacks a lot. That said, Tidal Dash does seem to do a fair bit of knockback, so maybe I can knock them out of that, knock them out of their attack by dashing into them, which seems counterintuitive considering you don't want to get hit, and your strategy for getting hit is usually, or your strategy for not getting hit is usually don't go near an enemy that's going to punch you. Granted, these guys are shooting, but still, the notion maintains itself. No matter. I'd say overall, like, this build is severely lacking what it needs to have any modicum of shininess to it. There's nothing that makes this build shine, is what I'm trying to say in, like, the weirdest roundabout way possible. Whoop. Thankfully saw that just in time to dodge it. But even then, I think there are some merits to it. And at the very least, I'm making it work. I can't really complain too much. We are, even in its weakest form, the rail is still just very strong for what it does. The safety it brings, even if it lacks the DPS to offer a fast kill, any sort of ranged weapon in this game is quite valuable for what it does. At long last, support fire. 10 damage per hit.
We'll make every strike count. Down the chute.
But the sad thing is that's actually a reasonable DPS up. It's kind of funny that how it is. Right, we'll buy that diamond for now. Oh, hey, a fish. I heard the ding and mentally did not register it. Thankfully, Zagreus said a thing. But I think at this point, I'll just take all those Artemis boons if I can afford them. But support fire was about all I cared about, frankly. We'll go for the Zeus room because maybe we're definitely not getting his legendary. Like, there's 0% way we can get his legendary, but maybe we get something that boosts the damage on his skull, for example. Billowing strength would be decent as well because it'll increase our overall DPS. Oh wait, let's see what's in this shop first. HP cast special. Not interested in any of that. Our Cyclops jerky is going to run out in 2 rooms, which means we're not going to get to see it for Hades, which is not a surprise. I didn't take it expecting to see it get all the way to Hades, but it did help us clear these rooms a little bit faster, so I'm certainly thankful for its existence, if nothing else. It helped. It certainly helped. And helping is good. Looks like we'll be able to afford at least 1 Artemis boon, thankfully. Okay, 2 Chamber 6. Not bad.
Young man, I know you'd like to get to know the comely Aphrodite face to face. Or, I don't know, you can decide once you arrive at last. He can decide, isn't that right, my lady Aphrodite?
Why, I never, Lord Zeus. That sounded rather like a crass remark from you. How shocking that the golden standard for the rest of us should have such words from me.
The golden standard indeed for how to be a god. Okay, yeah, so billowing strength honestly may be better here. 22% more bonus damage because we fill up our god gauge extremely fast. But smoldering air, like, here's the trade-off. Like, if I use Zeus's call reliably, I have to be relatively close to enemies for it to target them. And you don't really want to be close to enemies when you're running a long-range build. So in either way, this is making me focus more on my call than I would like, but it's really after using the call for 15 seconds, I'm dealing 22% more damage versus I just get that call more reliably. I think overall, billowing strength is probably the better option, sadly. Sorry, you two.
Shocking.
Is it that shocking that once again I turned away a boon that was offered by at least in part Aphrodite?
Hungry. Always a pleasure, Charon.
Awesome, sweet nectar. Your palms of power are more potent. Glad I'm gonna use that. Haha, no, we're taking broken treasure. We're taking sunken treasure here. I'll take the darkness, I'll take the gems. Oh, and we can afford a palm at least now.
Out of stock, Charon.
1 more damage on the attack, 25 more damage on the jolted, or 30% more damage overall. I think overall billowing strength is probably the better one to palm here, although jolted makes a strong secondary argument. All right. Oh, Cerberus, you have nothing.
Each violent countenance of Cerberus agrees the satyr sack must be destroyed.
Okay, he had a little exclamation point over his head, and I was like, oh, does he have new dialogue for us? But I guess it just...
Thank you, boy.
I guess I've just never registered that that's normally there once you have the satyr sack. No matter. All right, we are going to go wipe out Hades and call it at the end of a day. Kiwi has woken up and is downstairs, so I want to go spend the rest of the day with her. But I've gotten a nice 2 Hades recordings done in one day. I don't usually get to do that. At most, I get one every other day. It's nice to be on vacation, Kiwi. I'm so happy to have free time again.
Not one of my overseers managed to stop you again. Must I do everything myself?
Yes, you must. Unless I'm playing a really high heat run, in which case I'm very prone to dying to Larny because I insist on dashing into that lightning at all times. Yeah, I could have avoided that, I just didn't. Alright, so here's where we toss our cast in, and now we get the damage buff. I should probably focus on dodging. You know when I said I need to, like, focus on not being near enemies? Well, I haven't really taken that recommendation to heart. Also wasted my cast there entirely, unfortunate.
We'll soon find out, I think.
Darkness.
I am liking this damage up, though, I have to say. We're just doing a lot of little hits all at once, and support fire is always fun. I appreciate how intensely it homes on enemies. Like, there's never an instance where I think it's not going to hit an enemy. I don't know if it gets blocked by walls, so that could be its one downside, but we're fine. Once again, I decided to use my call as he's phasing, which is just really dumb on my part. But, like, look at how fast we gain God Gauge. There are very few reasons to feel the urge to need to take a boon that increases my God Gauge gain when I'm already gaining it this fast. Okay, oh, whoa. Okay, so we zoomed in because I got hit there, I guess, but that was really weird.
We're not finished.
Hades, unfortunately, I think you are finished here, because now you're just giving me free damage.
Not right now.
But look at that, like, if I just maintain a steady stream of attack on him, our God Gauge is full before I even need to, before it even finishes the attack. Alright, he is phased again, and he's using his lasers. Oh, we got the weird bug again. Oh, wow, he is committed to using his lasers here, and, well, I can understand why, because I'm going to dash directly into them. So, if you aren't aware, there is a safe spot that you can stand in the center of Hades, where his lasers can't hit you if you're not running extreme measures for, in which case he can. He has a pulsing shockwave that he uses. But like, I screwed that up real bad. But once again, I am playing super unsafe because I just have so many Death Defiances. I don't really need to play safe.
It seems I was no match for you this time.
You usually aren't, Hades, unfortunately, until we start getting to the really high heats.
This again.
I feel pretty confident about how I play this game.
Goodbye, Father.
What I will say is 45 heat is rough. It is very rough. I almost actually pulled the win, but I got really unlucky with some boss RNG. But I will upload that episode one day. I'm going to save it for when I don't have an upload for a day. Anyway, what was our build? I guess we got Aspect of Zagreus. We got, where is it? Where is that Daedalus hammer that we got? Flurry Fire. We got Flurry Fire, we got Support Fire, we got Zeus's attack, and like at that point, that's really all that it was, wasn't it? He really did not get given anything that would really carry the run, unfortunately. I think I just leave it at this, honestly. This is all that mattered. Support Fire, Lightning Strike, Flurry Fire. Of course, Jolted mattered, but it's kind of funny if we just leave that off and make this feel really bad. But there we go, 34 win streak, 66 total wins. No fish. All right, back to the house we go.
Despite having transcended past the confines of the underworld yet again, Prince Zagreus proves utterly unable to get past this point.
I'm a little tired, Kiwi.
How?
And that's me on coffee. Like, I drank a little coffee before going into recording. I just, meh.
I'm counting that one as a victory.
I mean, it was a victory.
Achilles. Sir, you're back. How was it in Elysium? Was everything all right?
It went well, lad. As well as I could have hoped. Better than I might have feared. Hey, don't take Patroclus calling you stranger personally, all right? He has less charitable terms for those he doesn't care for.
Interesting that the question I lauded earlier in this episode is actually getting answered. Huh.
Come on, Achilles, I want details here. What happened with you two, if you don't mind?
Well, thankfully, your efforts meant that no words really needed to be said when I arrived. He simply said my name. Then we just were. Two souls, together in one spot. The way shades linger. It looks mournful, right? But it isn't always.
Two souls together in one spot. I feel that, man. Like, there is something so nice about just, even if we're just existing together, knowing that I'm in the same room as Kiwi just makes me really happy. And it's so much more different when I'm just alone. When she's around, I'm happy. That's about all I need to say.
That's wonderful to hear. He seemed uplifted in your presence. You must have lots of catching up to do.
Lots of making up for lost time. And finally we have some time to spare. It's odd, because so many of my memories of him are from a time of war. Now we can make new memories, in peace. Anyway, see you out there again sometime, I hope.
That must be a really... It's an experience that I likely will never understand, or, well, like, maybe not understand, but will never experience, and may never ever actually want to experience, but the feeling of living both sides of a war during the actual combat and then the aftermath. I don't know, I don't think I could ever fully comprehend the experience of a veteran, is I guess what I'm saying. I just don't think I have the stomach for war. I would be so terrified out on a battlefield. I'm not a fighter. I'm a healer, I guess. I will always be a support class and a healer. I would be better off using my abilities in logistics or the medical field, I think.
Count on it, sir. Achilles, next time you're in Elysium, I thought this might be something you'd enjoy, that you might share.
I mean, my issues with asthma alone would probably prevent me from making it into an army, just because I would probably keel over with inability to breathe if I ran too much.
Ambrosia. Well, I'm honored, lad, truly. Although it's I who ought to be bestowing thoughtful gifts upon you for what you've done for me, not the other way around. And I happen to have one here, on Pat's and my behalf.
We're getting our final chthonic friend.
You have a chthonic companion, and you're giving it to me?
Antos, okay. Why don't we try that out in the next run?
I thank you for your blessings, Queen Persephone. Your son and I, we always were quite close, but through all this ordeal, we've become rather inseparable, I think.
Well, I can see he has better taste than I do, Thanatos. I have a sense of how industrious you are. You just take care of yourself, please. And take care of each other too, all right?
I know it wasn't intended that way, but it kind of feels like Persephone. Mom has a little thirst over Thanatos. She definitely just slighted Hades pretty bad with that comment, though. Jeez.
As you will, Queen. I mean, all right.
All right.
Oof.
Cerberus is busily considering upon what else to gnaw.
Until next time.
I feel like
enough to eat lately, haven't you, boy?
Our cats definitely have that sentiment of, what am I going to chew next? And how much will it inconvenient Jeff and Kiwi? Alright, Hades, you've got some new dialogue for us, too.
Altered one of my own pacts without so much as seeking my consent, undoing terms that were agreed upon. Do you intend to undermine everything in this house, boy? Or only me?
Yes.
Only you, father. Good thing I've inherited some of your fate-given authority, being your son and all. Otherwise, some of your most loyal subjects would be bound by exploitive terms for eternity.
Terms that they chose themselves. Terms to the benefit of this house. What if Achilles were to leave his post for the green pastures of Elysium? What then?
You could find a replacement, but it's a pointless question anyway because he's here. He isn't leaving. He might even do better at his job now that he has increased ability to step away from it.
I can definitely increase the I can definitely approve the sentiment of vacation helps you recuperate your ability to function on your work.
A naive hope at best. The more you step away from your responsibilities, the less you shall want anything to do with them.
I can see that argument going both ways, honestly. Yes, for a while, but for at least for me, I get antsy when I don't have anything to do, and I do eventually crave going back to work for some degree.
Not if those responsibilities matter.
Exactly, like my responsibilities matter to me and to other people.
Friend, let's get back to my song.
And so if I temporarily take a break from them, it's not going to stop me from wanting to go back to them. Nectar for 10 gems, I will take that, sure.
To pass up. Hey, nice one, wretched broker.
I like his little smiley face.
Oh,
hi.
Hi,
Dusa.
I saw you in Thanatos recently, Prince. You too? If you don't mind me saying, you are quite the pair. I mean, you ought to see yourselves. Makes me a little woozy just remembering it now. Well, up I go then. Bye!
Bye!
Bye. Guess everybody knows.
I swear, I've been waiting here forever. Cause of death, spoiled food. Unfortunate that you're hanging out in the kitchen, then. Gems and nectar. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of nectar. We'll probably toss that into something eventually. Oh, right, I forgot to practice our lyre in the last episode. I should do that today. Alright, 1 complete set. Earn all chthonic companions. Cool. Not sure how many times we actually have to practice that, but alright, Kiwi. That's another run in the bag. I will probably never run the aspect of Zagreus again, because as I very much made clear in this episode, why would I want to run that over any of these other options? Even aspect of Lucifer is at least more interesting to play, even if it's not my favorite. We've got a gauntlet run. Alright, let's max out the aspect of Talos this time, and we'll do that next. Your special becomes Magnetic Cutter. Its pull deals 20 damage, and then it increases our attack and cast damage by 50%. Alright. So I think that's only against enemies that are magnetized, so... Yes, okay, your special pulls foes in, then for 6 seconds they take more attack and cast damage. So maybe we go a fun cast build. You know what? We have been lacking Demeter in our runs, and this keepsake needs some leveling. So let's go ahead and take Antos. Let's see how that keepsake plays. We'll take Frostbitten Horn, which gives us an increased chance of finding Demeter, and we'll see how this build plays out. So with all that said, Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're asleep, I hope you're sleeping well. In the next one, more Hades 1 action, but I've completely lost. I think I need rest, Kiwi. My train of thought is just completely absent, it seems. Kiwi, thanks for watching. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Until then.